YouTube, Twisted Hammer Gaming here, back on Twisted Hammer Gaming, and today we are here for episode 155 of Dead by Daylight, but today it will not be normal gameplay. I will not be doing customs today, I will not be doing public matches right away, and it will not be killer. It'll be public survivor matches with my good friend here. Go ahead and say hi, my dude. I don't know if you guys can hear him, yeah. But, yeah. And, today I will be first going over 4 unlockable killer files. So, we have 5 for 2. There's 2 killers that have only 5 files on them, and then 2 killers with 10. So, we have 30 files to go over, and 4 videos to watch after all the files have been read out to us via the audio. So, also I went and got the a part of the new cosmetic for one of the cosmetics that looked a little bit flashier, just because I liked it a teeny bit. Plus, I wanted a little bit extra flair, a little bit, and a little bit different cosmetic to where it didn't have the trickster's entire front exposed, for his shirt. I'd rather have it to where plus the fact that the jacket actually looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. And the fact that he has a glove. So, yeah, he's looking snazzy. Also, I have leveled him up to level 35 already. And I've already gotten tier 3 Iron Grasp, Tinkerer, and Save the Best for Last on him. Which are actually pretty decent perks for me to use. I use Save the Best for Last on Huntress. It's a really good perk, because you don't need to down your obsession with your broadaxe. You can just use hatchets. And then Iron Grasp and Tinkerer. Gens and hooking people, or you can trade the other people. So yeah. But, enough of that. Time to start this little review of all these things, and what better to start off with than the, let me see here. I think it was this tome right here. Yeah, the Hollowed Blight. So this one doesn't have audio, so I have to read it out. And then we will go from first to last in the order I want to actually start off, from the least vile to the most vile. So you'll see. Also the least tragic to the most tragic backstories. Also, I will warn you that some of these videos will contain gore, graphic violence, but no strong language because of the fact there's no talking throughout the entire thing. So, if you cannot stomach seeing gore, then why are you watching gameplay of Dead by Daylight? But yeah. But if you are into this kind of stuff and like to play this game and try killing people as killer, or try to survive the killer, smash like, I guess. Alright. I would read this out, but instead I'd rather just... Ah, crap. I think I clicked this thing actually has 3 unlockable videos. So we'll watch the first one. So, this is what the Blight used to be before he became what he is today. He was just a normal person. He was pretty much a survivor at this point. Wasn't a killer. And whatever happened to him turned him into the murderer we know today. He has the syringes and everything. Even the hood and the cloak. Yeah, he's got all the flair. Alright. Yeah, I need to move my camera so that we can see this stuff. Or I'll just change it. 1 second. There. I'm sorry, but you will not see my face for the rest of this. But you'll be able to hear my voice and at least get to see everything on screen. So, Alright, second of the third video. Here we have Trapper, seemingly have been mutated by the Blight. Tabot Grind actually is the one who did this to him, and now becoming the blighted version of himself. We get that. This guy does not look like he is happy at all. Yeah, he looks freaky, doesn't he? But then we get on to the third video, and pretty much this is what happens, I guess, during every blighted event. Or what was happening. Ran out of ingredients because these things started dying. The blighted cankers started dying, as they are called. Blighted cankers. Yeah. Alright. Even the leaves. Now he has to wait another long time in the void for him to pop up again. Or maybe it spawns in different areas. Alright, so we'll start off with the one I want to get out of the way first. So here we go.
Jane.
No. So we're going to be starting with this one.
Rin sits at her desk, dreading the end of the school day. Not because she enjoys junior high, or because she respects her teachers, but because she despises being forced to learn kendo. But her father demands it. He demands that she practice the way of the sword. Not just practice, excel. She's a Yamaoka. The Yamaokas come from a proud legacy, a samurai legacy. He reminds her of this every day, and every day the kids tease and humiliate her, telling her she has no business in their class, telling her she should wield a broom, not a shinai. She ignores them and tries her best. Maybe if she excels with a katana, her father will feel better. He hasn't been himself as of late, frustrated, irritable, reactive. She can't do anything right, nor can her mother. He has become very quiet and talks and argues with himself. She doesn't understand what's happening to him, but she knows he is suffering, and the last thing she wants is to add to his pain. Family is everything, and maybe one day she'll be okay with wielding a katana. Maybe she'll even enjoy it.
That's foreboding. Next tape.
Rin's bones feel brittle and ready to collapse under the weight of the armor. She holds her bamboo shinai up to her opponent. I want this to be over. Can't this just be over? Her opponent insults her. He tells her there's a shattered window in the changing room she ought to clean before someone cuts themselves, Janitor Yamaoka. He laughs. He makes another janitor joke at her expense. A sudden heat rushes up her face. She wants to shove the shinai down his throat. See how he laughs with wood and splinters piercing through his stomach. Splinters piercing through his throat. Where did those thoughts come from? It's not like her to think such thoughts. She angles her shinai and feels something strange inside. She's never felt anything like it before. Like a waking dragon in her heart. She stares at her grinning opponent. Faster than thought, she lunges and strikes his head. Everyone laughs at him. His head slumps in mingled defeat and humiliation. A boy stares at her with wide, disbelieving eyes. He blinks. You might be a Yamaoka after all. She hates to admit it, but it feels good to win. No, not to win. To defeat a foe. To defeat another human being. Defeat another human being? Why would I think this? These aren't my thoughts. But they are.
Alright, some more foreboding. Okay. Tape number 3. Memory number 3.
She doesn't understand what happened. What thing came over her to give her the strength to contend with the boy in front of her? He isn't laughing anymore. He glares at her. She beat him. Not once, not twice. Thrice. The boys continue to stare at her open-mouthed. Something is changing in Janitor Yamaoka. They know it. She knows it. She feels the waking dragon in her heart. It's the closest she's ever felt to being a fighter, a warrior, a Yamaoka. And she likes it. Likes being treated with respect. Likes being taken seriously. For an instant, she imagines herself beside the great Renjiro Yamaoka and his son, Kazan. Something tugs.
Kazan being the Oni.
The dragon stirs. And the dragon, she realizes, is the waking of her raging Yamaoka blood.
So, for those of you who can't tell, she was basically thinking of a really old ancestor of hers, which is the Oni, called Kazan. So that's cool that they mentioned him in the tapes.
Janitor Yamaoka, you got lucky. Let's see how lucky you really are. Boys close in on her, cursing, jesting, shouting. She wants to run, but doesn't see an opening. She wants to apologize for being good with a shinai, but the waking dragon inside her heart won't allow it. She didn't do anything wrong. She has no reason to apologize. She finally did what she was supposed to do, and now they close in on her as though she had cheated, as though they could see the dragon that had helped her. She feels scared. Where is that dragon now? Where is the spirit of her ancestors? She raises a pleading hand for her abusers to stop. You will pay. You made me look foolish. For a moment, there is an opening between two boys, and there's no hesitation, only action. She charges through and storms across the schoolyard with a group of angry boys in pursuit. She quickly ducks behind a garbage bin and watches the boys run past her. One stops, turns towards the bins, narrows his gaze.
Jesus.
She holds her breath.
Just because she's better than
pounding in
them,
her head.
they want to beat her up.
Why
Wow.
hide? You are better than these peasants. Stand and show them who you are. But she does not reveal herself. She hides and wishes that waking dragon to go back to sleep.
Damn. Well, seeing as how what she's ended up today, I wonder how this is going to turn out. Something tells me it's going to be a rip in the chat for the bullies.
Rin emerges from hiding and begins her long walk home. The dragon in her heart admonishes her for hiding, tells her she is more than her tormentors and should never cower before bullies and abusers. She's not sure what she should have done or what she should think. Maybe she should have faced them. Maybe she should have confronted them. Maybe she should have beaten them down and torn them limb from limb.
Okay, you're going a little far.
What am I thinking? Where did that come from? Limb from limb. What dark thoughts are these? Before she can answer her own question, she hears a voice. She hears her tormentors jeering and spewing insults at her.
Oh, great.
She doesn't turn around. She doesn't run. She doesn't run because she knows what's coming, and she doesn't care. The dragon within tells her everything's going to be okay. The boys throw garbage at her, call her Janitor Yamaoka, Janitor Yamaoka, Janitor Yamaoka. She knows what's next. She sees it in her mind's eye like samurai of old. They'll push her down, surround her, punch and kick her, but this time she won't let the pain defeat her. She won't let the fear paralyze her. She'll use the fear and the pain to feed the dragon. Today her bullies will feel teeth and claws. They will feel her wrath, and they will learn she is a Yamaoka.
Breach. Alright, so that was the last of the Spirit's tapes, Rin Yamaoka. Now it's time to watch the actual video. So this is after she probably got out of hiding. They saw her and started chasing her. Okay, really? Okay. Yeah, they deserve everything that's about to happen to them. And that was the Oni screaming. It's time to whoop some ass! Jesus! Oh, goddamn! Maybe you guys should have just quit while you had it. Oh. Well, now. If they ain't dead, they're probably wishing they were. Goddamn. Well, that was the spirit, and now it's gonna move on to Herman Carter, aka the Doctor. Doctor. Oh god, he's got a lot.
That's what he calls Professor Blanchard. The imbecile is choosing 2 students to lead a research assignment in an abandoned farmhouse. Carter knows he's going to be selected. He's the best in the neuroscience program, the best at the Leary. The Leary. It could only be the Leary. The Leary or the Allen. 2 institutions with a history of working with the government to push the limits of psychology beyond the code. Not beyond the code, despite the code.
Cool.
The papers coming out of the Allen amazed him, captured him, inspired him. Had he been Canadian, it would have been the Allen, or what many called Ravenscrag. The experiments they conducted were brilliant, cutting edge, mind-shattering. He wishes he were a student.
Imagine we got
in the 50s,
another
studying
doctor
Lord Crag,
from that place.
the nickname patients gave the genius at Ravenscrag. Lord Crag returned from the trials with ideas, not cautionary tales, not disgust like the other bleeding hearts who condemned the doctors who would anyway be smuggled into his country and be given the highest positions in government in exchange for their discoveries. Lord Crag took the experiments he had heard about to the next level, and Carter hopes to do the same. But not with this professor, not with Blanchard, Dr. Blanchard, Dr. Bleeding Heart Blanchard.
Wow.
He has no idea what real power is.
Apparently not.
Real power is freedom. True
Preach.
freedom. Freedom beyond the limits of ethics and morality.
Alright. So far, I like it.
Carter's leading the research assignment with another peer. The challenge? Secure the secret word through the good doctor, bad doctor interrogation technique put forward by some other bleeding heart imbecile at some other institution. He's bad doctor with a code, a list of do's and don'ts the imbecile gave him. Very limiting, too limiting, self-limiting even. How is he supposed to secure anything with these limits? Surely he realizes how futile the experiment is with this code.
Jesus.
Nevertheless, he tries. He shouts at a fellow student sitting across the table from him. Shouts? Big deal. Tell me or I'll... Shout again. The student doesn't take him seriously. He's play-acting fear. It's all make-believe for him. I should smash his skull and yank the secret word out of his substandard mediocre brain.
Calm down, Herman. No need to get so mad. Actually, you know what? If they... You know what? Go ahead, man. It's all cool. Go ahead. I want to see this.
Second day, and nothing. Carter's frustrated. Really frustrated. At least they're tied up, all 7 of them. But it's still not enough. They need to take the interrogation to the next level. Deprive them of food and water. They'll talk.
Jesus.
When their cells begin to self-cannibalize, they'll talk. Better yet, he wants to deprive them of sleep. Sleep deprivation. Removes masks, lowers guards.
True.
Makes prisoners talk for the promise of a few minutes of sleep.
It actually
7
does.
prisoners stare at him.
Pretty sure.
They know they're safe. He can see it in their eyes. Limits. No one got anywhere respecting limits. He despises his colleague, Good Doctor. He'd have the secret by now had he been working alone and without a code.
True. Hell, if he's the one that's gonna be my interrogator, hell, I'll just put him in there by himself and let him get the code.
Ridiculous limits. Skinner knew better. Put his own kid in some kind of a box for years just to see what it would do. Huxley worked for the Secret Service and wrote Truths as Lies and Brave New World. War of the Worlds was another great test in mass propaganda. The power of the radio to induce fear and anxiety in an unsuspecting audience. The power of fear and anxiety to inspire silence and indifference and create perfect consumers, ethics, morality, limits. For sheep, not shepherds.
Ooh.
Carter feels anxiety unlike he ever felt as he watches Good Doctor interrogate one of his classmates. He approaches him from behind with a piece of wood, something he found on the ground, raises the makeshift club. Before he realizes what he's doing, he pounds the Good Doctor's head. Pretend fear becomes real fear as his fellow students stare at him in horror. No more Good Doctor.
Nope.
No more rules. No more limits. Except the limits of his imagination.
The doctor is here! And by here, I mean the bad doctor is here. The good doctor be dead! Or at least knocked out.
Carter ties a student to a chair. Warm blood drips everywhere. He twists pieces of flesh off his face. The sheep look away, but never up. With terrible moans and squirms, he gets a secret word from each and every one of them. New, Reich, Horizons, Fourth, Bird, Kill. His classmates beg to be released. They sob and agonize in their chairs. They plead the experiment is over. You have the words. You win. We're done. Carter smiles. He's still got a few days. A few more days and a few more experiments to run. Could put his career at risk. But he's got the Good Doctor to take the fall. I'll take what I learned from Lord Crag and lobotomize these imbeciles and manipulate... No, not manipulate. Manufacture.
Manufacture?
Yes. Manufacture reality.
He's off his rocker now.
Music blares. Eyes are kept forced open with toothpicks. Carter piggybacks a looping song with an inaudible subliminal frequency to evoke fear, anxiety, and discontent. He experimented with the loop on his parents, always caused a fight between them. He doesn't remember where he got the loop. He first read about the subliminal frequency from advertisers. Advertisers deny subliminal loops work. Of course they do. Advertisers deny they use subliminal loops. But they do. They use them, and they work.
Yep.
They must. They must because peace and contentment is our natural disposition. War and discontent needs to be instilled, enforced, manufactured, repeated over and over again until it's the main script in the collective consciousness. Paperclip, Bluebird, MK Ultra, MK Delta, MK Search. They were all necessary. Lord Crag had the right idea, good instincts. So did the Black Sorcerer and the Dirty Trickster. They inspired all the goodies he brought with him in his bag. Music, drinks, drugs, lots of drugs. For a moment, just a moment, he hesitates. He'll probably go to jail for a long time if he uses his goodies. But being free, being truly free for a few days, is worth a lifetime of imprisonment. But I won't get caught. Good Doctor will.
Okay, whatever you say.
Carter wonders if he can remother these sheep. Remother, he loves the term. He wishes it was his own, but it's not. Shock them with electricity and expose them to endless images of death, chaos, and destruction. Traumatize the brain, empty it, lobotomize these subjects to remother them with new personalities. He wonders if he could remother these sheep into wolves. Get them to kill each other. Better yet, turn these good, law-abiding students into serial bombers. He rips the plug out of a lamp, splits the wires, peels the wire, places the exposed wire into a student's mouth, slowly approaches the socket, taking in his terror, plugs it in, screams as he remothers this exemplary student. A putrid smell of burning hair and skin reaches his olfactory receptors. There's another stench. Imbecile soiled himself. Carter laughs. He hasn't been this stimulated in ages. To be free. Ah, to be truly free.
I'm gonna say that is kind of funny that he basically shit himself.
Carter hasn't had this much fun since he first tried to transplant a mouse brain into a rabbit. A week isn't enough. He wishes he had more time. He needs more time. There are new avenues within the mind to explore. Too many avenues, not enough time. He wishes he had the tools to operate on their brains. There are knives in the kitchen. Good work. Not surgical precision, but good enough. He's read about a gland in the brain that looks like an eye, a gland that supposedly secretes DMT, a kind of mystical drug. He wonders if he can extract it from a living subject. He wonders what a good dosage of human DMT does to a test subject.
Probably nothing good when you doing the tests.
Carter unties a rope. He's going to release Good Doctor. He's pumped him with drugs and programmed him with new thoughts. He believes the other students are Russian spies that need to be executed for national security. He unwraps the rope and places a screwdriver in his hands. He changes his mind, removes the screwdriver, replaces it with a fork, changes his mind again, replaces the fork with a spoon.
A spoon?
He's never seen a spoon used to kill a human being. He backs away from Good Doctor, who is lost and confused, remothered. He says a phrase. The moon is down. Confusion becomes clarity as Good Doctor stands and approaches the Russian spies with a spoon. Brilliant.
Wow, he's gonna kill someone with a spoon. Brilliant indeed. Alright, last tape.
Bleeding Heart Blanchard returns to the farmhouse with a group of men Carter's never seen before. They look like government men. He suppresses a smile and tells them Good Doctor got out of hand, took things a degree too far. He barely got out alive. Blanchard tells him to shut up. His tone is different. He doesn't sound like an imbecile. We taped the whole thing.
Uh-oh.
Carter exchanges a look with the men in black suits. He doesn't understand. The imbecile enters and does the unexpected. He stares at the barely breathing student unperturbed. No fear, no panic, no emotion, nothing.
And it seems like the doctor
to himself in German. He turns to Carter with a smile. His smile turns to a grin when the men in black suits handcuff and arrest him. Blanchard whispers, "Looks like you had your chance to make merry hell and took it. The cuffs are just for appearances." I don't understand. Yes, you do. You understand much more than the others. Welcome to MK Awakening.
Oh, damn! So I guess Blanchard's probably just as twisted as you, Carter! You assumed he was not, and he might be as twisted, if not more twisted than you! Oh, well, I guess appearances can be deceiving. Well, here we go, the video. Also, I have seen this a long time ago. Please, if you are weak-stomached, please look away. But if you feel like you can handle it, I guess watch it at your own risk.
Hey! Huh?
And that's how the doctor became the doctor! Okay! Anyone have anything to say about that? In the comments? Jesus! How? Oh, seeing that kind of makes you flinch about the fact that he did that. Maybe it doesn't, maybe it does, who knows? Also, by the way, one of the videos that you will be seeing in this stream, any edited video that I make, one of these will become my new intro and outro for every edited video that I make from now on. So yeah. Fun. Next up, we're gonna be going with our girl, the Huntress.
Hitting zero.
No, here.
Dawn bleeds across the craters and trenches and into the devastated forest. Explosions tear the ground. Mud rises and showers Anna. Men tumble headlong into open craters filled with rotting cadavers. Mangled human and horse flesh make a feast for rats. Other men are blasted to bits and pieces. Some drown in mud and blood. The brutal savagery of these human animals amuses Anna. She's never been so entertained. They are worse than hungry wolves fighting over a carcass. Some speak words she understands. Others speak words foreign to her ears. A pathetic scream like nothing she's heard suddenly startles her. She follows the source of the sound into the decimated forest, where she sees a small canvas tent and Russian soldiers guarding foreign prisoners. She watches them all evening. She watches horrified when they execute one of the horses for dinner. So much meat wasted due to sloppy butchery. After dinner, the Russians grab one of their foreign prisoners and crush his head with a shovel to pass the time. They laugh and make jokes. She watches them in the shadows and laughs silently. Not with them, at them. A shovel is clunky, the blows are awkward, the death messy.
She's criticizing them.
Neat. Her mother taught her better.
Well then! Hey, at least she has... So she's... Well, I mean, she does have class. Hey, at least she's smart and knows how to do it right. She's, like, mad at that they're wasting meat and not killing someone effectively. Too messy. I mean, her death is... I mean, I guess pretty clean. Doesn't smash the head in, she just chops the brain in a certain part. Alright, next one.
She was going to search for another pack of human animals, but something catches her eye. Something that reminds her of her father. Something perfect for her little Bushka. A gift. Anna hides in the shadows and fixes her gaze on the gift. The Russian soldier carves the gift as he guards and swears at foreign prisoners in the shredded canvas tent. They kill and torture each other because they cannot talk to one another. She remembers a book her mother once had. She pointed to the pictures and called them soldiers. They were the ones who butchered her father. Soldiers tear each other apart for reasons her mother could never explain. She watches them and doesn't understand. She's not sure they do either. Maybe they like the hunt, the scent of fear, the bloodlust. She stares at the perfect gift and wants to give them a little war they'll never forget. But there are too many, and her mother suddenly appears before her with a smile and tells her little Anna she will need to thin the ranks. I can do that. I will show you, and I will show them where crawfish sleep.
I like the sound of that! Show them who they're messing with!
The Russian soldier does a peculiar thing to his prisoner. He ties him to a gnarled branch by his ankle and lights a fire a few inches under him. She scrunches her brow, confused. You kill the game before you roast it. But these soldiers enjoy his agony. She recognizes the yelling and shrieking foreigner. Just a few moons ago, he was torturing Russian prisoners in another tent. Just a few moons ago, he was the tormentor. The Russian holds the perfect gift in his hands while the prisoner shrieks and squeals like a pig. She smirks. It's kind of a funny cry. It is. It's amusing. The Russians make jokes and imitate the squealing cry. She fights down explosive laughter. It's the most ridiculous sound she's ever heard.
Hey, she has
The
a...
sound of an approaching soldier
Hey.
suddenly startles her. She wheels to see a glittering bayonet rushing her. She evades and grabs the pathetic, scrawny man by the neck, curls her calloused fingers around his bulging apple, and yanks with devastating fury. With a choked gurgle, he collapses and lies dead on the ground with his throat torn out.
Body!
She returns her attention to the laughing Russians and the squealing human swine. She smiles. They'll all be making similar sounds when she's through with them.
There's always a bigger fish, and she's the biggest fish in that part of the world, my friends. You done fucked up.
4 Russian soldiers lurk around the tent searching for their missing comrade. Anna stealthily tracks one soldier, inching closer and closer with every step. Poor pea-green mule. He has no sense these will be his last few breaths. She watches him for a long moment, then strategically steps on a twig. The crack makes him turn, but before he meets Anna's gaze, her axe splits his nose between the eyes, smashing his teeth and severing his tongue. She covers his bloody mouth with her hand as she rummages through his pockets for the perfect gift. Nothing. She raises her hand to let the choking, gurgling sounds lure the other 3. Carefully they approach with their bayonets raised and ready. She grinds her teeth in fury and bloodlust. She rolls their comrade's severed head in their midst. A moment of shock, and it's all she needs as she leaps out and drops 2 soldiers with one lash of her axe. The other soldier rushes in with a scream, and she meets him with a sweeping stroke that severs his head clean off the torso. A geyser of blood erupts as his headless torso staggers stupidly back and forth as though searching for its lost head. The torso staggers forward, then pitches backward and collapses. The sounds of another attack reach her before the blade. She lashes left and right, and the body collapses in mangled pieces. The soldier stares at the pieces of his body around him in terror. She laughs and thinks about that story her mother used to tell her. Sorry, Yetzo. Can't be put together again.
I guess that's their version of Humpty Dumpty. Okay. She has a funny sense of humor, I'm not gonna lie.
Anna finds these soldiers curious. Where once the Russians and foreigners were roasting each other alive, they are now working together to survive her attacks. They are calling her a ghoul, a monster of the forest, saying she is a Bodark. Together the soldiers dig pits and sabotage their camp. Anna toys with them. She's outnumbered, and she knows it. She weakens their senses by depriving them of sleep. Every night she approaches their camp, sings a lullaby, then howls like a Bodark. The soldiers wake in a frenzy and scuttle in terror as she returns to her cabin to sleep with her little one. She rests for a few hours and then returns to her little war to reignite a cycle of terror. 1 or 2 sleepless nights and they'll be ripping each other apart. It'll be a matter of walking in and taking what belongs to her little Bushka.
I like her tactics. Okay, we have so far the most strategic one of them all, and the one that seems to have the most fighting experience would be the Huntress. Time to see the video. And it takes place in the World War II. Okay, great. Bitch! With a rock! Cool people don't look at explosions. All that for a toy. I just imagine that every time those soldiers made a loud bunch of noise, she just goes out and whoops their ass. Just so that they would shut the fuck up. Just goes out, just kills about 4 or 5 people just to make them shut the fuck up so she can get some sleep. Wakes her up. Bitch, you thought you were gonna just wake me up and get away with it? Nah, I'm gonna keep it. Okay. One more. Time to watch ourselves a hillbilly. Backstory. So, a man's named Boy.
In the darkness of his cell, he hears footsteps approaching. He hears laughter and gossip. His father with others. He's not sure who he's with. He puts his ear to the door and hears a laugh. A deep, guttural laugh. He feels his skin crawl and his stomach twist in knots. It can only be Chief. He hates Chief, especially when he's with his pa. They make him do all kinds of things for fun and laughs. His pa brags about his killing tool, as he often calls him. More laughter. Other voices. Chief brought some deputies to enjoy the show. He wants to smash them all to bits just to make them stop laughing. Everyone laughs at him. The whole world laughs at him. He grinds his teeth with frustration. They ain't supposed to laugh. They're supposed to protect him, and he knows it. He's seen it on his TV. The only thing that calms him and keeps him company when he's done his work. TV is something special. The friend and parent he never had. But Chief ain't like those on TV. He's another kind
That's
of
sad.
chief of police. The kind that works with Pa to clean money. He doesn't even know what that means, but he overheard them by the pig pen talking about cleaning a whole load of money and sharing that load with a judge and other men of the law. They clean money together. That's why Chief lets Pa and Ma do whatever they want to him. Chief is crooked, his pa always says. Crooked like his boy's face. The laughter grows louder. They approach his brick dungeon and he shivers at the thought of more slaughter. He's tired of killing to make a few deputies laugh.
Aw, that's
Real
sad.
tired. He feels his blood boiling, feels it rising through his neck, feels it pushing up his face like it wants to burst through his skull. A sudden high-pitching whistling noise fills his ears. He hits his head over and over again until the whining stops. Silence returns. For a moment, just a moment, and then a chain rattles. Bolts snap loudly and he loses balance and falls back to his haunches. The door opens, filling his brick cell with blinding sunlight. He covers his eyes with his arm. His paw steps inside, grabs him, and yanks him to his feet. "Come on, boy. Let's show these deputies your worth."
Okay. First off, I fully support the hillbilly here. Anything that happens to these pieces of trash that are doing this to him, they deserve tenfold. Alright? I'm just saying, if he kills them all, they had it coming.
In the sweltering barn, he stares at the blood dripping from his hammer, feeling as though he were in a dream. Strange, weird, unhinged. No, not a dream. More like he's living on a TV show, watching himself from a distance. Slaughtered cows, thick and wet, all around him. 7 or 8 of them writhing helplessly in warm, coagulating blood. Heads cracked open, brain and gore spilling out. Flies buzzing around him, buzzing in his face, buzzing in his ears, telling him this slaughter is who he is. This senseless slaughter is his worth. His only worth. Kill. That's what they love to watch you do. Kill, kill, kill. The flies are laughing at him, laughing with Chief and his deputies, telling him he's so useless he don't even have a name. "Boy, what kind of name is that?" His pa shoves him toward another cow. "You ain't done yet." Boy raises his hammer and shakes blood from his eyes. He feels strange, weird, unhinged, fed up. He's had enough of this life. The cell,
Understandable,
shovel
dude.
manure, slaughter, endless slaughter. and taking care of them. In the darkness of his, in the sweltering
Well,
dawn,
crap.
he stares at the blood
Sorry,
dripping from his hand,
Raw. I
feels
just
as
hit
though
the
he
button on accident. But yeah,
no,
to anyone who's watching, what is your opinion of like these people? Because it's like, so far, who would you say you actually like the most so far out of all these tapes that we've been listening to?
writhing helplessly in warm, coagulating blood, heads cracked open, brain and
Because
blood
like,
spilling out.
so far I'd say that the Hillbillies is the most sad.
Buzzing in his face, buzzing in his ears, telling him
Because he's being forced to do something he doesn't really want to do.
this senseless slaughter is his worth.
So if anything,
His only worth. Kill. That's what they
I would say my favorite is Huntress because she's strategic, but I say the one that I feel the worst about is I feel bad for Max. Max Thompson is Junior. Is that Mr. Little Junior is actually the thing I feel bad for.
His paw shoves him toward another cow.
You ain't done yet.
Boy raises his hammer and shakes blood from his eyes. He feels strange, weird, unhinged. Fed up. He's had enough of this life. The cell, shoveling manure, slaughter, endless slaughter, and taking care of those pigs. Those prized pigs. Pigs given more love by his parents than he ever got. The flies circle his face and laugh at him. The high-pitched whining returns. The pigs got names and you didn't. Duke and Donnie. He swats at the flies. Pa nudges him. Come on, boy. Show him you can do more with that hammer. Boy. That's what Pa calls him. Boy. That's what Ma calls him. They think he's too dumb to know he doesn't have a name. A real name. He knows. All his life he knew. He knew and imagined himself as Max. Max Thompson. Imagined his pa was so proud of him that he gave him his name. How he dreamed to have his father's name. How he dreamed. Pa shoves him. Come on! Show him now! Boy feels his face fill with blood, his veins swell with fury, his temples throb maddeningly. The next moments are a blur. Blood and screams everywhere, not bovine, human. The whining begins again and he's confused, searching for his pa, but not finding him. The whining stops and everything is muffled. He turns to see Chief charging him. What have you done? Boy doesn't really hear him. It's like when Ma held his head in a bucket of water to teach him not to call or cry for her when he was a child. Everything's muffled, distorted, surreal. Chief tackles him and grabs the gory hammer out of his hand. You killed him! Your pa, Jim, Don, Ray, my men! My fucking men! Boy pushes Chief off and tumbles out of the barn drenched in blood, heading toward the main house, screaming for his ma in the growing dusk.
I just took off.
I'm just saying, I don't want, it's getting warmer out, and I don't want plates in here with food on them, or bowls, or drinks.
I'm streaming, plus the fact that I don't have anything in here except this.
That's fine, you're streaming, but I'm telling you what I don't want going on anymore.
I know.
Don't get a fucking attitude with me. You
I
understand that?
am only telling you. I have this. I just used it. This right here. I am
Ma sobs on the ground with a mouthful of cracked teeth. Boy lifts her with one arm and a flood of inarticulate words rush out of his mouth. Words he only understands. Words the TV taught him. He wants to know his name, his real name. She just stares at him, confused, lost, desperate. She gurgles blood and chips of tooth slip down the side of her face as she begs for her life. Even if she understood what he was saying, she could tell him nothing. My name. My name, what's my name? Boy slams his maw against the ground again and again. He lifts her over his head and hurtles her against the kitchen table. It breaks under her weight. Blood gushes from a wound in her leg. She loses consciousness. He feels bad and holds his limp body. Why? Why did you hate me? What did I do to make you both hate me so much? Her face is beautiful and hideous at the same time, evil veiled by beauty. He hugs her harder and harder, wishing everything would have been different, wishing he were one of those damn pigs. They spoiled them with love, affection, and time. All that time they spent with Duke and Donnie while he groveled nameless and alone in a dungeon built just for him. He tries to lift her, but slips in a pool of her blood. She struggles in his embrace. Every time he asks the question, he squeezes her tighter and tighter. My name? What's my name? Her struggles cease, and she jerks spasmodically. Tense arms and legs go limp. He releases her slowly. Her head thumps hard in a puddle of blood. She stares upward with blue, vacant eyes. Beautiful blue, vacant eyes. Eyes that only saw a monster, a thing, a beast of burden to work the farm. Never a son, never her son. He hates those eyes. Those hateful eyes. He rips them out and squeezes. They pop like bovine eyes. He smiles and doesn't really know why he's smiling. He wipes blood off his face and likes the mushy feeling in his hands. He hears a foot pound the floor behind him. Chief suddenly rushes into the kitchen. I'm gonna smash your head with your own goddamn hammer! But as he lifts the hammer, he slips in an inch of warm blood. Boy panics and rushes outside into the darkening woods, with Chief screaming and cursing and bullets whipping by him.
And apparently he dodging bullets now.
Boy doesn't know how long he's been running, but he's tired. He hears Chief yelling and hollering after him in the distance. Says he regrets the day he told his parents to keep him as a farmhand. Says he told Ma and Pa that a monster kid would make a damn good worker. Says other things too, things Boy doesn't want to hear. Your parents tried to kill you, let a pot of boiling water spill over you and told us you were a clumsy child. They says you pulled the pot down from the stove, but I knew better. I seen right through 'em. Too embarrassed of their deformed kid that they poured scalding water over him. Tried to kill you. Tried to make it look like an accident. Boy covers his ears. Flies buzz about, laughing. He doesn't want to hear this. A high-pitched ringing echoes through his mind. Stop, stop, stop! But it won't stop. He knows he's the only one who can hear the whining and laughing flies. He knows he hears things. He knows his pa hurt him, hurt his head, screamed too loud in his ear when he was a baby, screamed mean things like he wished Ma's belly cord strangled him completely and not just halfway. He takes a moment to gather himself. He hears other voices. Chief called in more deputies. Doesn't matter. Let them come. They all deserve to pay for doing nothing while his Ma and Pa made him suffer. Boy squeezes the neck so tight, screams quickly fade into pathetic whimpers. Easier to kill a man than a cow. Only a man makes much more of a fuss. Boy stares in the deputy's panicking eyes and knows this one. Knows him well. This one laughed at him many times, laughed at him when he should have helped him. Who's laughing now? Didn't you watch TV? The police are supposed to help, not hurt. Laugh at me now! Boy lifts him off his feet and pounds the back of the head against a tree, over and over again. Laugh now! Laugh! Laugh! The skull splits open like a melon and brain mass hangs from one side. Boy releases him, and the dying deputy can barely keep his balance. He toddles left and right and stops in front of Boy, and for a moment he stares at him as though seeing something more than a tool or a freak show. Something smarter than a mule. Smarter and deadlier. The deputy seems lost and confused, like a mindless zombie on TV. The trembling, confused deputy shuffles forward, feeling his wet, mushy head. Boy moves to the side to let him pass, and stares at his good work, stares at the gore dripping from his skull like putty, watches him stagger left and right in the moonlight. If he were a cow, he'd end his suffering. But he's not a cow, he's something else, something vile and corrupt. Boy watches him disappear in the shadows. He stares at the darkness until he hears a thud. A strange feeling fills his heart and he laughs. Feels good to fight back and show them his worth. His real worth. Boy hears Chief searching frantically for him. He sits by a tree covered by bramble, squeezing a handful of deputy brain. It's got the same texture as cow brain. He probably couldn't tell the difference if he had a lump in each hand. He squeezes and likes the feeling. It soothes him, calms him, relieves his anxiety. His thoughts wander to his favorite TV shows. Ma and Pa let him have a TV to shut him up. They got tired of him smashing the wall and crying for them. Nothing worked, not the gag or the rope that he always managed to get out of. Only the TV. TV was better than any constraint. It kept him sitting down, passive, complacent, and quiet. Ma said it hypnotized him, and that was a good thing. The TV showed Boy so many things. Showed him how different his life was from other children. Showed him what parents should have been like. He wishes his parents were more like Clark's parents. They made a hero out of their son by just being good to him and raising him right. They took good care of him and he wasn't even theirs. Or the other parents, the parents of that other boy, Beaver. He had a good family, but he wasn't like them. He wasn't like Clark or Beaver. He came into the world hurt, deformed, and weak like a runt. His pa told him he had wanted to stuff him in a bag with rocks and throw him in the lake. Tough love, tough life, tough everything. He hears deputies shouting in the distance. Boy feels scared and does what he usually does in his brick cell. He closes his eyes and thinks of Clark and waits for the greatest of all heroes to save him. He never comes, and it's not like TV. He's always there to save the day. He's always there to help those who need help. But TV ain't reality.
Is
and he's
Hillbilly
alone.
wanting to... Did
He's alone
Hillbilly want to
because
be
he
a
was
hero?
born a crooked
Now that's
little
even
beast.
sadder.
Boy opens his eyes and stares at the gory lump in his hand. Doesn't matter. Enough waiting. He's his own kind of hero today.
He's an anti-hero. Ooh.
Chief screams his anger, found bits and pieces of another deputy. Boy is picking them off like cattle in a barnyard. Chief swears to hell and beyond he'll make him pay. Make me pay? Me? You're the one who's gonna pay for letting me rot in that cell for all those years. Chief calms down and calls someone. Tells them to bring the dogs. Bring them. Won't make a difference. No matter what, he ain't ever going back to that cell or any other cell for that matter. He'll die 1,000 deaths before they ever lock him up again. He wants to rush out of the darkness and grab him, but something tells him that's exactly what Chief wants. He's trying to lure him with hurtful words. Boy sits in the shadows and stirs the dry leaves with one hand. He sees a deputy approaching with a flashlight. He grabs a thick branch and slowly rises and inches toward him. A hare springs in the air and bounds away. The deputy trains the flashlight on the rodent. He releases an anxious breath just as Boy swings the branch like Babe Ruth. Head and neck are smashed open, and the dark contents splatter on the trees and ground. Yet the deputy doesn't fall. He stumbles here and there with his smashed head barely hanging by sinews of flesh, his hands desperately reaching out and feeling the cool night air. Reminds Boy of a decapitated chicken fluttering about the yard searching for its head. Boy smiles and feels liberated. He laughs to himself. Another deputy made clean. His pa cleaned Chief's money. Now Boy cleans his deputies. Like father, like son. He thinks of Chief and loses his smile. He could have helped him. All those years, he could have helped him.
Oh.
Boy, you want to know your name? I knows it.
Uh-oh.
Boy creeps up.
Oh.
Boy, you want to know your name? I
Two more
knows
tapes
it.
after this one.
Come out and I'll whisper it in your useless mangled ear. Chief's playing games with him and he ain't gonna be fished. Chief swears he's gonna hunt him all night and that he's got dogs coming. Dogs that can track a cricket fart in a pile of manure. Boy didn't even know crickets farted. He learned a lot of things on TV, but never that. The thought of a cricket farting makes Boy smile. He likes smiling. He crawls closer to the police crew. 2 new men on the hunt with Chief, but he doesn't see any dogs. He figures he best take them down before the dogs arrive. He's seen police dogs on TV. They can sniff out anything. These deputies seem angrier than the last. He's not sure if it's because he felled their friends, or if he ended their cleaning racket with his paw. Maybe both. He just gets the sense, if they catch him, they'll make him suffer and squeal like a pig. Those pigs. Those damn pigs they loved so much. Why did they have to love them so much and him so little? Had they treated him like those pigs, he would have been happy. He would have been happy and he would have been something else. He would have been a hero like that boy who wore a cape and helped the world. All because of how his ma and pa raised him. Boy creeps up behind 2 deputies he can barely make out in the moonlight. He slowly raises a pointy branch, leaps out, knocks one head, and thrusts the branch through the mouth of the other before he can yell for help. He stares down at the blood gushing out like a geyser. Reminds him of a scene in a cowboy movie. He approaches the other deputy. The deputy turns and grabs Boy. They roll over the crunching leaves and fallen branches, exchanging blows. Boy manages to wrap his arm around his neck and squeezes. Legs thrash wildly here and there. Boy squeezes until they stop at once. He hears Chief calling back his deputies. He tells them to come back, says the dogs have arrived. Boy retreats into the bramble and shadows. He closes his eyes, imagines a different life for himself. He's the Beaver Boy, sitting at a table, eating a wholesome meal with his pa and ma, and they're asking about his day. Then everything changes when he speaks. The sounds upset his ma. She beats him across the head, holds him down, and pours hot sauce down his throat and tells him to never speak again. His pa grabs him and gives him a lashing with his belt. His eyes spring open. Everything could have been so different had he not been born a monster. Born a monster? Monsters aren't born. They're made. Made in a crucible of hate, cruelty,
This
abuse.
is entirely true.
Hot sauce and belts. That's the stuff of monsters.
Yeah, I feel bad for Max. Last
Your pa says you want to know your name. Stop running and I'll tell you your fucking name. Boy stops running. The barking of dogs grows louder and louder. He turns toward Chief's voice and sees moonlight dappling through branches and leaves. He shifts about in the silence, not sure what to do. Chief's voice grows louder. Your pa gave you a name before he realized you were a crooked freak of fucking nature. Your name shames him. That's why he hides you. You want to know your name? Come out with your hands up and I'll tell you. Before Boy realizes what's happening, a dog rushes out of the darkness and attacks his arm with a vicious mouth of sharp teeth and dripping slobber. Boy wheels towards a vague, fast-moving shadow and grabs the wrist before the hammer crashes down on his head. He throws the dog against the tree. He's never felt such strength, such power, such resolve. I have a name. He shakes the wrist, and the hammer falls with a thud in the gloom below. Boy wrestles Chief to the ground. Chief pulls out a knife. Boy grabs Chief's wrist and forces him to plunge it into his own belly. See my worth now, Chief? See my worth? Chief pulls the bloody knife out, but Boy doesn't give him a chance to react. He plunges his hand into his warm gut and squeezes something he doesn't quite recognize. Chief shrieks in agony, "Son of a bitch!" The dogs leap at Boy and rip him off Chief before he can do more damage. Boy smashes the dogs to the ground and searches for his hammer to finish his good work. Dogs slowly rouse and bark. He grabs a branch, smashes them hard, and charges away before they attack again. He runs for what feels like forever through the cold, dark woods and heads toward the farm, toward the house where he always should have lived. It's still not too late. There are secret rooms in the basement, rooms where his pa hid his money and where his pa and ma could hurt him without anyone hearing his screams. He bets he could hide there a long time before anyone ever found him. He bets it would be real cozy, especially with his TV. And he bets he'll find his name, his real name, in his pa's stuff. But not before he cooks himself some bacon. Some prized bacon.
You go, Max. Alright, here's the final tape before we do an actual public match.
Y'all fucked up now. Hey, buddy, let me show you something.
Let's go, Max. Show him who you really are. Time to make some bacon. And that is all the tapes, so it's time to actually do a public match. Hey, War Dragon, you still there? Alright. Oh, I'm still streaming. I just finished off the last of the tapes. Took a while. Yeah. Alright. Oh, did you get out of your match? It says you're in a lobby. Ah. Well then, I guess it won't be a public survivor match after all. I'll do a public killer match myself. Oh. Were you loading into a match? Eh. Jesus. And there we have some BS. Oh my gosh. You gonna be doing a killer match still? Alright. If anything, I'm gonna play as killer as well. Then I'll end the stream off instead of public matches. Survivor instead. I'm gonna do killer. And with the Hillbilly Chainsaw 3 survivors. Pleasure. Jeff, Claudette, Fang, Claudette again. Alright then. Alright, Max, let's see your worth. Let's see what kind of hero you can be. Big mistake. You darken the mist. Nope. You've messed up. We're on Michael's map. Alright, Max. I'm playing as Hillbilly on Michael's map. With no obsession. Just what I wanted to see. There we go. One down. 3 to go. I'll show you my worth. Yeah, people disconnecting are just people that like killing the fun of other players. Like my worth, Claudette? I have worth. There's yours. Sounds good to me. I haven't killed anyone yet, but it would seem that these survivors aren't the brightest. At least the Claudettes aren't. One of them's dead on hook, but the other one's struggle. The other... Never mind, Claudette killed herself. 3 survivors left then. And I just found myself a Jeff. I'll show you my worth. No. You will suffer the wrath of Max Thompson Jr. Come with me. You'll be in a basement like Max was his entire life. Now you may die in here. Gotcha. I can't believe I missed that. Oh well. You will learn maximum from Junior's name, buddy. You will soon learn. Like I don't see you there, huh? Idiot. Come here. You want to unhook? You want to take that hook down so badly? Then you may die on this hook. You want to be stupid? I'll show you the price for being stupid. Show you your worth. Nope. Don't think so. Gotcha. 2 kills, brutal killer. I actually had a lot of fun. Got my challenge done too. Rank 2, 12, 8, and 9. Rank 8 and 9 died. 12 and 2 escaped. Second most amount of points. Bad. Didn't mori anyone though, sadly. Forgot about that. Could have done that. Didn't. Probably should have. Oh, that'll be the end of the stream. So, thank you everybody so much for watching this episode of Dead by Daylight. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button. Greatly shows the support on this channel and this series as a whole. Also, if you are new, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to also stay up to date on whenever I make a new post. Also, finally, don't forget to share this with your friends, family, people in other communities that might actually enjoy seeing the content that I post out on a somewhat regular basis whenever I have the time to do it. And I will see you guys next time. Peace out, everybody.